Alright, today we're here to talk a little bit about bending. So, if you're new to bending, there's two versions of bending that we're going to talk about and go through in this video. One of which is semitone bends and the other is tone bends, alright? So, and there's a certain way you want to approach bends as well, which I'm going to get into right now. So that's a certain way that you want to approach bends from the get-go as a beginner and kind of working up. There is alternative kind of ways along the way and reasons that you won't need to do it this way along the way as well, but obviously we're focusing on building it up and working on it. So you want to take your third finger, okay, so just as an example, if you want to grab your guitar, I'm in drop B, so it's going to be very different, but ignore that factor right now. You want to grab your guitar and go to fret number 12 on the G string with your third finger like this. As an extra support to help with the stability and the strength and all of those super important things, alright? Put your first and second finger directly in front of your third finger like this right here on the same string, okay? So it's almost like you're about to play like a blues chromatic kind of run. That sort of idea, we've got those three fingers lined up like a staircase right there, alright? On the G string, for example. And so the idea of obviously a semitone bend is you're bending the string, because when you're doing a bend, you're always bending to a note that's higher, alright? So obviously semitone being one fret apart, one fret along, alright? So you want to feel the note out. That's the note you're reaching for right there, in my context, at least anyways in this tuning. So that's where the semitone bend would sit right there. You can hear when you reach that note in unison, you know you've got to the right kind of level of push on the bend, essentially, right? That in of itself, early stages, early doors might be quite difficult to do. I totally understand that and appreciate that. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of force, a lot of strength, a lot of control, all of those things, but obviously we're working on this over time, so don't worry about it. Secondly, the follow-up of that, of course, being the tone bend. So same premise, same rule, same idea, you're just going to be pushing it a little bit more and a little bit further. So again, it might be a bit more difficult for you for that reason as well. If you struggle with the semitone, you're more than likely going to struggle with the tone, absolutely, because it's the further push. So again, as a good reference point, you could play the note that is a tone apart first, 2 frets along. In this case, that's the note for me right there. So I'll do a tone bend to reach that note in unison. Semitone. So everything to remember about bends right now to start off with is use your third finger, first and second finger on the same string in front of it for extra support. Your thumb can sit quite high, you want to have a bit of comfortability and control there with the wrist, but a little bit of momentum available as well. Semitone bend being 1 fret up in terms of the bend, you're bending to 1 fret higher. You can play the note first, bend to it in unison. Tone bend, obviously the extra fret after that, you can play the note first, you can bend it in unison to that note. Try out different strings, different frets. Some of them you'll probably find easier than others just because of the way the tension of the strings work and the neck and all that stuff. Like the thicker strings are obviously going to be harder, the thinner strings are going to be easier. High up tends to be a bit easier, which makes a lot of sense because obviously, as you know, a lot of guitar players tend to play guitar solos higher up and stuff because it sounds cooler and nicer, and it's also actually easier to play as well. So yeah, that's just a little bit about bending right now. If you have any thoughts or questions or anything like that, as always, feel free to shoot them across. And as always, thank you very much for watching and tuning in once again too. And I hope to see you in the next video.